Good Tuesday morning. I was like, what day is it? I'm sitting here basking in the sun that's kind of behind the clouds right now, recharging as I'm about to do session 3 of the Alive and Aligned Spring Reset program. So today what we're going to be talking about is nervous system regulation and mindset. So for the nervous system regulation, I'll be talking about very simple breathing techniques you can do to very quickly shift your state. By very quickly, I mean in like 10 seconds. There's some breathing techniques you can do literally in 10 seconds. Can you see how bright the sun is right now? Anyway, I was going to say I should be wearing sunglasses in this kind of bright light, but it's actually good for you to not be wearing sunglasses all the time because the sun has so many benefits. And when you look at it with your eyes without sunglasses, it actually helps regulate your circadian rhythm. Not exactly this brightness of light, but I love it. I don't want no sunglasses to block that from me. So nervous system regulation. Today we'll be talking about breathing techniques, some energetic tapping, my favorite movement, so how to move energy and different emotions through different types of movement. There's different movements that impact different emotions. Like if you're feeling, for example, angry, one of the best ways to do it is like stomp it out or punch it out or kick it out, you know? If you're feeling stuck with your creativity or you're maybe feeling a bit like numb, then doing hip circles is really great for that. So we'll be doing all those things on the call today, which I'm excited about. And then we'll be talking about mindset, but in a very different way than what I think most coaches teach or a lot of psychologists talk about. It's not about changing your mindset. It's not about becoming more positive or fixing or changing your thoughts. What I teach is how to understand how the mind works, how consciousness works, how all that relates to the bigger mind, which is like basically source or God energy or the universe, whatever you want to call it. I always feel like I say that. I should just pick one word and stick to it rather than going on these tangents of a thesaurus selection. So basically, like my approach to it in brief, which I've learned from different coaches like Shanann and Missy and other people, amazing coaches, is you don't change your thoughts to better ones, you just observe them and you tap into a space beyond you. So beyond the ego, beyond that small mind that's always wired and designed to think and think and think. The only way out of that is to drop into that space within or that soul essence or like God energy, basically. I don't know if I'm explaining myself right, but basically, like you have the mind, the ego, where I feel like that's brain energy. It's designed to think, but if it's misused and we think too much about like our life problems maybe, or just trying to figure out the direction of our life, that's not the point. That's not what our mind is meant for. Our mind is meant for like calculating things and writing, thinking, creating, but not for planning the future or figuring out problems in our life. That's actually not the point of our mind. So if you can just tap into your like divine consciousness, drop into your body and drop into your breath away from your thinking, that's when you start to feel peace. That's when you can relax. That's when you can tap into your true essence, because that mind chatter that goes on all the time, that's not your true self. That's just your conditioned ego that's trying to keep you safe. Yeah. So it's not about changing anything you're thinking. It's about just disconnecting from it and observing it for what it is and seeing, oh, my mind is doing that thing again. It's trying to protect me. It's doing its job, but sometimes it does it too much. It's doing too good of a job. And that's where I know I have to consciously drop into my body. Yeah. I even like to picture like maybe dropping into my heart specifically, or dropping into my solar plexus, or dropping into my womb, or placing attention on the bottoms of my feet. That feels very grounding. And that's the farthest place from my mind, from that brain. And even when you just consciously draw energy away from the brain into your body, you start to relax. And even as I talk about it right now, I feel more relaxed. I'm like, ooh, I have less chatter in the mind. I feel more connected to my body and connected to like this universal oneness. Speaking of which, there's birds chirping. I don't know if you guys can hear them, but I'm connected to the birds and the trees and the sun and the sky and the clouds. I love nature. It's so grounding for me. And it's like my new church. I used to actually go to a church, but now I'm like nature. Nature is church for me. It's so relaxing and I just feel so connected to God. I actually had a really, man, I hope I'm not like, my course is starting soon. I hope I'm not going to miss it because of this live, but I think I have a few minutes left. I had this incredible experience that I'll talk about in more depth one time when I was in Vancouver at Wreck Beach. It's actually the nude beach, which is cool, but I actually go there because I love the nature. Like it's so disconnected from the rest of the city. And I remember laying down on a landslide. There was a big sign that was like, do not walk there, like keep walking, don't stop. Meanwhile, I like climb up on this landslide because, I don't know, looked comfortable. And then I lay there and I just felt the sun beaming right into my heart. Like I felt like the sun was my God at that moment. Like it was just so much energy and so much force and power, and it was shooting straight into my heart. And then I felt like I could remember who I was as like a soul, as a spiritual being, not just this physical body. And in that moment, I also realized like I am infinite. And the only thing that's blocking me from doing miracles is my mind. It's the conditioned mind that's like, that's not possible and that's not possible. And I was like, I bet you if I really put my mind to it, I don't know, maybe I could fly. I mean, maybe gravity would be a little bit against that, but there's like a lot we can do if we just stop listening to that mind that keeps telling us we can't do this. And you know what that mind is? It's not even you. It's our society. It's our education system. We've been ingrained to think a certain way about certain things, and it's not our thinking. It's like maybe your parents' thinking or grandparents or just the government. Like that's why I'm such a rebel with a cause. Because I'm like, don't tell me what to do. I know who I am. And the more I spend time in nature, the more I can connect to that part of me, of that infinite, powerful part. And the other thing I had that experience when I was feeling that sun, like activating my heart energy and activating love within me. That's what I felt like. Just this oneness with God is how I felt. I imagined myself like like a character in a video game where they have so many lives. You can just keep dying, but you come back again and you die and you come back again. I'm like, that's what we are. We're infinite. We can't ever die. Literally, it's impossible for us to die because we're this like soul that never ends. Anyway, I don't know how I got onto this, but yeah, I'll read you guys one time what I wrote because it was pretty cool. I had to write it down because I knew I was going to forget. And I love going back to that moment because it just reminds me of like the infinite possibilities that are available to us. And I think life is really fun when we can live from a place of infinite possibility and potential, and where we can see miracles in life every day. And miracles can just be very, small things, but it's just changing the perception of how we see things that we suddenly see miracles all around us. I'm such a storyteller. I know I ramble on and on. Thanks for listening though. All right, if you guys have any questions or comments about any of the things I said, let me know. I don't know if I always make sense. Sometimes it's hard for me to articulate what I'm really feeling and experiencing, but maybe at least some of it makes sense. All right, I'm going to go start my Zoom call now soon. Bye.